Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Ross Johnston. The Tennessee Titans lost their Week 1 opener yesterday to the Denver Broncos 20-12. Quarterback Cam Ward went 12 of 28 for 112 yards with multiple drops throughout the day. The Titans forced 4 turnovers as well. Safety Xavier Woods with a pick. Corner Roger McCreary with a pick. Jeffrey Simmons forced a fumble that was recovered by Sebastian Joseph Day, and rookie linebacker Dorian Mousey recovered a muffed punt. Yet it was all for naught as the Titans racked up 131 penalty yards while only putting up 135 yards of total offense. In other AFC South results for Week 1, the Indianapolis Colts beat the Dolphins 33-8, with quarterback Daniel Jones counting for 3 touchdowns on the day. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Carolina Panthers 26-10, and the Houston Texans fell on the road to the Los Angeles Rams 14-9. Week 1 wraps up tonight with the Chicago Bears hosting the Minnesota Vikings for an NFC North battle on Monday Night Football with kickoff set for 7:15 p.m. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. It's a therapy session day. 615-737-1045. You want to call in.
Survive.
And I say that because I had my therapy session today, Blaine, and I spent almost half of it exclusively talking about the missteps of the Tennessee Titans. And I'm not joking. This is not a joke. True life, I'm talking to my therapist across the way and talking to her about, like,
the first thing throw me off. This is good.
But like, I sat down. First thing I do, I sat down. She goes, "How was your week?" And blah blah blah. I go, "I'm just tired. We had to cover this crappy football team that it looks just as bad as it did last year on the offense." And I don't think this coach is the guy. And I spend about half of it talking to her about it because that's the place they got me in. And I think we're just going to start off. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. We talked about on the pregame show yesterday, we talked about it all week long. Outside of Cam Ward and this offensive line, the biggest 2 question marks were Denard Wilson and Brian Callahan. Yeah. And I think Denard Wilson answered the call. Now we'll see if that is a consistent weekly thing. Mm-hmm. Brian Callahan looked like the same Brian Callahan last year. And arguably a worse version of Brian Callahan last year, because I think that if you were to look at this game, I don't know how you don't put the majority of the blame. Now, listen, great defense, rookie quarterback, bad offensive line. I don't know how you don't put the share of the blame pie on Brian Callahan. And I was a big Brian Callahan defender, but I said, if they fire one, they should fire both. The NFL, and this is what I was telling my therapist, the NFL has told us with years and decades of data that you should fire both at the same time. If you fire one, the head coach or the general manager, you should more than likely fire both at the same time. And 2, most head coaches who draft a quarterback 101 after having a losing season don't survive. And that should tell you right there, you should have got rid of Callahan last year. And I wish him all the best, but he's a guy that has dug himself a 18-game hole down into the earth and has continually created lose-lose situations for him and this offense. And listen, last year, a lot of it could be put onto Will Levis, but we asked, okay, with better quarterback play, with a more expensive offensive line, you got to step up as a play caller and all that kind of stuff, and I just didn't feel it.
Yeah, this one here, man, this was going to be really tough to explain. Besides, that Denver's, they have a great defense. And they got after it. I was a little disappointed in the offensive line a little bit, especially Junior more so than anybody else. I'm really concerned about J.C. Latham's hip, by the way. I think other than that, they can run the football. I'm going to start with the good things because I know we're going to be the majority of all the bad things. But the good things.
I hate it. I really do.
I mean, man, the hip injury I'm concerned with because the way he was limping, it's like, you shoot your pinky toe of an elephant and all of a sudden it starts limping. Well, that's how he was limping. It was like, man, what happened? I mean, like, oh my gosh. So and we saw what the backup did, and then they put Benito right over there to go zoom right by him. It was like, Ross was trying to block him or something.
Well, it's not really. They couldn't line up Benito anywhere. He couldn't get to the passer.
Right, I know. Well, especially when they put in errors back and they knew they had to pass. All right, some good things. DK showed that he is a good returner in an NFL game. Him and Alec, hold it forward. I thought Alec maybe should have caught one of these balls, but I mean, Pickens in the elbow one was a catch, so they didn't give him that one. So that was good. The defense, as you mentioned, was solid. Didn't like some of the defensive penalties, especially I told you Brownlee's always touchy-feely. To me, that shows he's probably. I was kind of that same way, and that's how I end up being a safety and nickel because that you get to be a little more physical there. They're going to be calling those things on the outside. As I talk about Alec, naturally the kicking game, special teams was good. 4 turners by the defense as well as Snead played. I'm interested in that he didn't act like he knew that he was on a snap count. He didn't play at all the second half?
He didn't play at all in the second half.
So, I was a little...
Now, Brian Callahan, I thought on Friday did say he was going to be on a pitch count because we talked about it. Right. But I don't think I think that got interpreted that... It was weird. The question that was asked to Brian Callahan at the post-game press conference was, you said he wasn't going to be on a pitch count, and Brian Callahan said, I never said anything about a pitch count. Oh. But I thought he did say something about a pitch count. I don't know if he did or didn't, but when they asked, Snead, he seemed a little disappointed that he didn't get back in there a little bit more. So, that's something, at least that's a good thing to a certain extent. They weren't on the same page. So that shows you, even in the NFL, communication to the actual player, him not knowing what the situation was and why he wasn't put back in. Or it'll be a managed situation if Snead plays, was Brian Callahan's quote on Friday.
Which I actually like that answer going into the game because that gives you flexibility whether you play him a lot or not. But in this case, he said he felt good.
Yeah.
And he actually looked okay.
He actually looked pretty good.
Yeah. He didn't look like he was limping or anything else like that. So that's the run game, I would say, was somewhat positive. A little bit. I mean, if you want to, against an elite defense, they had some creases. Wish they could have eventually broke one, but they didn't stick with it. Now, the bad. I'll let you start there because there's a laundry list. But those were some good. Oh, by the way, let me forget. Cam Ward is a dude. Yeah. Let's just say he is a leader of men. He's got enough tools to be a successful quarterback. I think he was even ahead of some of the vets even, and I'm going to just use this one as an example. Calvin really should have bent the route in. He had to see where everybody's at. Instead, he slowed and said, well, I'm going to run it like the coach drew it up on the board. Well, the pieces on the board are not moving. Those people out there on the field are moving. He threw it right where you're supposed to be. Get there. And you saw him a couple times, clap, 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 clap. Get there. Yeah, and it wasn't just to Ridley. He did it to multiple people.
DK was another one towards the end of the game. We were talking about
it. He's got the DNA. They let him loose and they let him do his thing. I think some people, play calling as well as players around him kind of let him down. Yeah. But, I would say that decision is already in my head, regardless of where he goes this year or not, against a really good defense was enough for me.
Well, I think Cam's dad's reaction to, I don't know if it was the DK or the Ridley drop at the end.
It was Ridley.
But that one at the end, I think that symbolized everybody's feelings about this game. Was just like you had the play right there to maybe change the outcome. Remember, this was one of those games we talked about. 4 or 5 games can change the outcome of a game, right? Mm-hmm. This felt like the Denver Broncos were making enough mistakes that you had maybe 10 or 12 plays to really change the momentum of the game, and you never capitalized on it. And that comes from the coach, right? Because I never felt the coach got aggressive after he got a turnover. There was never really an aggressive plan of attack after those turnovers, and that's why you ended up with just 6 points off 4 turnovers. Yeah. That's unsustainable. You can't expect your defense to, as Stoney put it last night, pitch a perfect game every week. And listen, it wasn't all perfect, but 90% of it was really good. Yeah. And you failed to capitalize on the offense. Yeah. And here we thought heading into this game, listen, we said it. You live and die by the offense. This is where you invested all your money, and they died by the offense yesterday. And it's pitiful.
Yeah, 4 turnovers by the defense is great. But what it tells me, though, and this is what makes me a little nervous, I feel like we're going down the same road of all the things that happened last year.
Yes.
And I just felt like until we see them do it, will it happen? Now it's 50% different players, and we're still getting some of the same outcomes. To me, this is telling you that you don't know how to close and do the little things to win games, and that starts up coaching. But naturally, the players are on the field. They got to pay attention to the details.
And you have a better quarterback.
The quarterback's not even quite. In the NFL, how can you run a screenplay and the guy's not out there for a screenplay? I have
That's
never
coaching to me.
There's some ding-dongs out here now.
Nah, that's true.
Sometimes you just say, hey, man, I don't know whose fault it was. I know it wasn't the quarterback.
Yeah.
And so Chig was motioning, Calvin Ridley. I don't know who the other receiver was over there.
Tyler Lockett, I think.
And I'm like, man, somebody made a huge boo-boo. Let alone, I didn't even like that series of play calling. But, hey, that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. So I just... the little stuff like that.
Cam Ward had rookie moments show up.
Yeah, he did. He went backwards that one time.
That.
Right.
What you don't expect is that those passes that were just perfectly placed, not getting caught.
Oh,
and I understand that the one to Calvin Ridley, he may have gotten his head clean knocked off, but he still should have caught it. I'll tell you this. Everybody told me that Van Jefferson needed to be cut off that one play, and that was a similar play.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Calvin Ridley's a better wide receiver. So what's worse, Calvin Ridley messed up, or maybe y'all went too hard on Van Jefferson? Probably a little bit of both. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I will say I'm with you on Cam Ward. They got a dude. He was going through his growing pains, but I think you can safely say there's teachable moments even in the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
There was some good stuff that he did that was kind of a little lucky that it got completed. But you take it, right? Like you just take it and you learn from it and grow on it. But I did not feel, and we've talked about this with Brian Callahan before, I don't know if he has in-game football instincts. Or maybe he is stretched too thin and he doesn't need to call plays and needs to focus on everything else. But I don't feel like he has in-game football instincts. Feels like sometimes he lets the defense dictate what he's going to be calling instead of trying to dictate his own stuff. And we said that last year. So this isn't a new discussion.
Watch this. You go in with a plan with Snead. Watch this.
Yeah.
You said we're going to monitor him. But he was feeling good and he told you he was, but you still stuck with your plan.
Yeah.
No, the plan diverts and you change and you let the guy you're paying all the big bucks to keep playing till he taps out. You let him tell you.
And
you
his
don't go buy a rule book.
Well, that's the thing.
Come on, man.
I think because he has a lack of football instincts. You remember last year when we were talking about, Jack Gibbons, he needed to stay on Calais Campbell and touch a guy on the punt returner. But that may have not been the play call, but that's kind of football instincts need to kick in. There were instances where you saw these players, like there was a one to Chig on I think it was a sack where he lost 3 yards. And Chig looks at him, sees that he's under duress because it's his man that he chipped is going after Cam Ward. And instead of just sitting there on a 3rd and 2, sitting there and taking the free shot, taking the route that is given to him and letting Cam Ward have an easy out, he continues running his route all the way up. And he stops and looks back. No football instincts. And I think that comes down to the coach.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's coaching. And more teams deal with this than not now because that's happening along the way with guys that are phenomenal athletes, but not really keen to the little nuances of the game.
Yeah.
And that's common sense to me, which I had nowhere near the talent that some of these guys got. And I go, man, if I had any inkling of talent left, oh my gosh, I'd get them just on that.
Yeah.
Don't put me one-on-one though. So it's just like, man, that's a tough pill for me to swallow because, man, most of these guys have been playing for a long time, and I just don't understand where the natural instinct is. It's like, coach told me to run my route inside, and let's say you're the running back, Pollard, inside the tackle when he rushes. But that guy is way out there, and we got a backup tackle out here. How about I just run my route outside so I can chip him myself on my way out to run into the flat?
Yep.
Let me help my guy.
Ross, real quick.
just the worst thing, and I know you kind of said this, Zach, is I think everyone expected us to lose. And if you had told me we would lose and cover, I'd feel fine about that. However, watching the game, seeing all the chances they gave us to not be able to capitalize on any of them, it seemed, it was horrible.
Yeah. I think that's the worst part. Like, we all kind of expected they were going to lose. I expected they would.
I said 2020 overtime,
you did.
23-20 Titans.
You were probably the closest.
Yeah, I thought I was.
But
they
I mean,
had them.
They had them. But that's the part that makes this loss so much worse. Is like, well, you guys all thought they were going to lose anyway. Okay, that's fine. But I'm still going to be disappointed in a team that actually had a chance to win. I didn't think they had that high of a chance to actually win, and they failed to take advantage of it. And I think it starts with coaching first. And I think right now there's no difference between how this offense is functioning and performing versus what it was last year. And there's only one common denominator, and that's Brian Callahan. And I think that's where we got to go. When we come back next, we're going to go to Blair, Ryan, Bam, Lee, Marcus. You guys are all coming up in the next segment. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Blaine Bishop. And listen, fellas, if your energy, confidence, or performance in the bedroom isn't what it used to be, you're not alone. But here's the truth. Masking the symptoms with pills isn't fixing the problem. At Edge Peptide Therapy, they specialize in sexual health treatments that actually target the root cause of ED and performance issues, whether it's low testosterone, poor blood flow, or hormone imbalance. And even if you're not dealing with full-blown ED, their programs can take care of your performance, stamina, and drive you to the next level. It's not about patching it. It's about getting your edge back for good. And I've seen firsthand what it's done for men, and I know this stuff works. So just go to their website at edgepeptide.com. Yes, that's edgepeptide.com, and get back to being your best, or just give them a call, 615-724-1878. That's 724-1878.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. It's a Titans therapy session Monday. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're going to the phones. Let's go to Blair Durham, who wants to talk to Tennessee Titans. Blair, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, guys. I am in Denver. Went to the game with my son and some buddies, and I'll start like Blaine did. Good news is that, well, first of all, I've never been in a louder stadium than Denver.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, I mean, it was so loud that you could feel the stadium vibrate. And Cameron Ward was so cool in those moments. He got the plays off. I'm encouraged that we have the right guy. I'm discouraged that we had 2 more yards offensively than we had penalties.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And the fans in Denver were thanking me for our crappy play calling. I mean, they were literally saying, thank you for throwing 3 straight passes when we could have kicked a field goal right there before the second half. It was. I don't think Callahan's the guy, and I hate it because he seems like just the most wonderful human being. But the other encouraging thing is Cam got sacked 6 times, but there were moments where he had all day, where the offensive line held up, and he had time to throw the ball. But the play calling was absolutely atrocious.
It's hard to disagree. We appreciate it, Blair. I mean, I'm a guy that has defended Callahan a lot, and make no bones about it, I cannot defend what Callahan did yesterday. I think that same stuff over and over and over, the same stuff we saw last year. We talked about at the top of the show, Denard Wilson changed stuff up. Yeah. He was throwing formations out there I'd never seen him throw before.
Corner blitzes and stuff.
I mean, he was in the corner, safeties. He was doing it all, and the defense was vibing off of it. And the offense, who has the most money and most resources invested into it right now, looked like the same offense last year, despite having better quarterback play or better opportunities for quarterback play. Because, I mean, obviously, receivers didn't catch it, but he was putting the ball on the money. There was at least 3 or 4 explosives left on the field yesterday through the air. And despite all of that, Callahan couldn't get out of his own way. It's like he gets to this point where he overthinks it. It goes back to the football instincts. And the fact that you have fans thanking you for your team's play calling, that's a big one. Yeah. That's a big one. That should tell you a lot about that team right there.
Yeah, I was hoping that would get better because, the telling tape is, a lot of people are going to go back now and be like, oh, was Levis really that bad? And it was really a combination of Levis losing games to the offensive line or whether it was the special teams. They were always finding a way to lose certain, most of the games. And what you come back to, I'll say, let's look at the quarterback then. Okay, Levis. Then you look at Mason Rudolph. And I go, well, dang, the product still looks the same with different styles of quarterbacks. Yeah. And I thought, well, it's going to be interesting to see how much he adds to his offense and changes things with Cam Ward. I just think he has a better guy who has a better feel for quarterback and is a better quarterback than either one of those guys from last year. And then other than that, I feel like and he's much more accurate. But he's still a rookie.
Yep.
So I felt like that's why the product kind of looked exactly the same. Still, to me today, he had better weapons to throw to. They let him down in certain instances. It's going to be tough because I find myself. I hope they don't keep losing close games, and whether you have 15 penalties. 3 penalties or 2 drops or 1 false start. I mean, this seems like it's a pattern here that they keep finding ways, or a penalty after the play, like, Simmons, who played phenomenal, I thought, on defense. And he was a record. As I said, he was going to be the MVP of the team. But, yeah. So it just, we just have duplicate, repeat, performance with different players. And that then leads to the head coach.
And especially the assignments, it's like Cam Ward was having to communicate and get everybody from Julius Chestnut to Tony Pollard to Calvin Ridley to Chig Okonkwo.
Well, they said there was some issues sometimes that he was getting the plays late. Did you hear that too, Ross?
So we actually got where Brian Callahan now talked about it earlier today, but we don't have that clip quite yet. But we have what he told Christina Pink, I think is the name of the sideline reporter yesterday for the Fox broadcast. And here's what she relayed to the listeners, or I guess audience.
Well, how is the rookie doing operating the offense in his first game? He's doing a good job, according to Brian Callahan. He said he got some calls in late to Cam Ward. He said he's done a good job managing the offense, but we need to use some more tempo here in the second half. But the run game's been solid as well. As for the defense, he said they've been unbelievable, and that was before their third takeaway of the game. He said this veteran group, excited to watch them go to work.
So he admitted at halftime that he was getting the play calls in late. And what was an issue last year that we talked about? Well, it looked like they're getting all the play calls in late. And I don't know, Blaine, like,
and then it made the guys look like they were not lined up.
Yeah.
And they were getting out there late. Now, that's on the players. Once you get out there, it could be maybe they called it to the wrong side and said, oh, no, we need to have this on the field. And he was moving people around. You could tell he was a true leader, and he was going to get it done the right way. That just hearing those things, those are the things you can control.
Yeah,
and that really is not good.
Here's what Brian Callahan said at the presser today on the issues with getting the play calls into Cam.
Again, I think our biggest issue in the play calls was the tempo back into the huddle. I think we were getting back a little bit later. We weren't good enough tempo-wise in that regard. We'll emphasize that. That'll be better. Loud, trying to get in and out of the huddle. Didn't give Cam enough time a few times to operate, and I think that's me as a play caller, and that's our tempo in the huddle, into the huddle, and out of it as well. So definitely something we got to get fixed for the next road game.
So how do you not know this when you're going to this loud environment?
You spent all offseason talking about we're going to practice, all this stuff because we know that we're going to have to utilize the silent count, right? They knew week one. We got to make sure Cam Ward's comfortable with the silent count. We knew this was going to be a loud place. And you yourself weren't ready. That is the problem that I have. And now he says, well, it's the tempos. Maybe he's saying that people are lollygagging or not putting in the effort to get into the huddle after a play is over. I didn't see that yesterday. I mean, of course, I wasn't at the game, and I only got the broadcast, angle. And all 22 doesn't show that stuff. But, that sounds like to me he's trying to blame the players. Now, he says but... See, this is why I think he's overstimulated or whatever. He has too much on his plate.
He's over his head.
And I don't think there's any way around it. I tried to defend it last year as a rookie head coach going through the growing pains and everything. But he's still, you're game 18 now. This isn't a rookie head coach stuff. And he looked like he was a rookie head coach yesterday.
Well, there's pockets here of good, and then there's bad.
Yeah.
And then when it gets bad, it gets highlighted because the team isn't where it needs to be, with the talent. So every little mistake that happens, it magnifies.
Right.
Because they need those things. They could have actually won this game. I mean, so these just look on players too, by the way, not just some play calling or decisions. Some players just didn't, when time came and they needed to rise, they didn't. So here's what it reminds me of. Callahan, the head coach, says all the right things at every moment of time until this time. Until this last time, right? He says all the right things. Okay, you know what this reminds me of? When Ross would shoot a free throw at practice, he would make them all. He got in the game, he would miss them all. Or he'd go 50-50. Mm-hmm. And when it comes...
Lights got too bright for Callahan and Ross.
Then all of a sudden, sometimes you do good and then sometimes you don't.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like, man, you're right there. Some of his decisions, he said, we're going to be aggressive, and you throw 3 passes. What the heck? And then we could have went in with, I about lost it. I could not believe it. He could have ran 3 plays into the middle of the behind the center. I would have been fine.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God.
When you're in a place like this,
and make them time out.
Yeah, take the points when you can get them. And because that's why everybody got a little upset with the last run play call to set up the field goal, the very first field goal.
Yeah.
People didn't really like that. And I'm like, no, end the drive with points.
It was a defensive game.
Yeah.
Any little mistake was going to cost you.
Yep. Ross?
Well, it was like last year, I feel like just so much got blamed on Levis, and I know he was not good. But last year I was at that Bears game, and after the game I was thinking, like, the play at the end is horrible, but we're watching this lead slip away because Callahan just calling conservative stuff all game while we're up, and Levis probably in his head at some points like, I need to make a play here. We're going to lose this game. Obviously, whatever happens, happens. But it was like he came in that game yesterday calling like Levis was his quarterback for a while, and then all of a sudden at the end of the half, the worst time to be aggressive, backed up, he decided to let it loose. It was like no situational awareness at all.
Yeah, the 3 pass plays backed up in your own end zone where you almost got a safety.
And then the players not knowing who's supposed to run the screen.
That was, to
I
me.
would have lost it if I was a quarterback.
That was insane.
Like,
And I think that led to.
Do you not know the ball was coming to you?
And I think in some instances that led to Cam Ward realizing I can't do anything, right? Like, I mean, these guys can't do it. I'm going to have to do it myself, which puts him into a mode where he may pass up some easy plays to go for the bigger plays. Mm-hmm. And let me say something. And as much as I liked Brian Callahan's play design last year and thought that there was a lot of outlets that the quarterback could have gone to, it felt like the opposite yesterday. There were some plays where there were no outlets.
There was no outlet.
And there were 2 or 3 wide receivers just down the field all covered, and he had nowhere to go to. Now, one of those plays was Tony Pollard had to actually stop running out into the flats for an out because is off a play-action play because Dan Moore couldn't block his guy one-on-one, which was the most recurrent theme. I guess it was.
He didn't play so good in the past.
To put it politely, Stoney's described it as hot crap.
Is that what he said?
Hot crap. It was a steaming pile for sure from Dan Moore, and I was afraid that was going to be the case. And everybody's like, well, the elite pass rushers, Nick Bonito is a good pass rusher.
Oh, no.
He's not an elite pass rusher, guys. He's your average kind of pass rusher.
Motor, yeah.
I mean, he may be a little bit better than like your Harold Landry's and stuff, but he's not a Myles Garrett.
He's not Von Miller type, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
But Blaine,
give me PTSD. Look like Dennis Daly out there.
Oh, man.
Blaine, you talking about those screen passes, though? That happened multiple times last year, too. Like, watch tapes of their games last year, those perimeter screens. I'm talking receiver screens. Yeah. People not knowing who to block, not knowing who's getting the ball. That's coaching. If that still happened this year,
and Ridley catching his screen, the one good screen that could have got you a couple of yards and runs right into the backside of Elikai Manor because he's too scared to just turn it up the field.
Yeah, he was in his head. And, by the way, they did have Sertan following him.
Yep, they did. Wasn't that crazy?
I was like, they trying to keep the media must have not knew.
Listen, they were not scared of one-on-one matchups.
They were like, we X'd him out.
Yep. Let's go to Ryan and Brentwood. Ryan, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Oh, man.
What's going on, guys?
What's up?
You got it.
Oh, hold on.
Where'd you go?
Ryan, you're back on with us. Something happened with our phones.
Yeah, Ross hit the button.
Hello?
Hey, you're back on.
Where are you? You here?
Okay.
Can you hear us?
I got a question for Blaine. If you had a chance to go get Nick Saban as the head coach, would you do it?
Oh, yeah, no, without hesitation.
Hey, you can't have him. Kalen DeBoer is going to get fired. What are the chances that both coaches of the 2 teams that I root for have lame duck coaches right now? That's why I need to talk about.
They're just making an opportunity for Nick.
That's why I need to talk to my therapist about. To be honest with you, is about why is everybody out to get me?
Are going to switch spot, college to pro.
Let's go to Bam. Bam, you're on Blaine and Zach.
Yo, what's good, fellas?
What's
you
up?
Got it, man.
From actually being there, I want to pull out a few points. From actually being there.
Oh, what was the atmosphere? Start there, though, first, please.
Oh, my God. Unreal. It felt like we was at a Super Bowl yesterday.
Wow.
That's how loud it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say this. Cam was so cool. He was so composed. Listen, the home team, Bo Nix, had 2 or 3 delay of games yesterday.
Yeah.
And Cam had none. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, honestly, man, watching him, I don't feel like Callahan was calling to develop Cam into a rhythm. You know, because, man, after the second quarter, I was like, yo, we in this game. Like, we could actually take this home. Like, I started to get, because I was kind of expecting a blowout like everybody. Like, the Broncos weren't a world beater, unbeatable team. Mm-hmm. It was very beatable. And that's why I was so mad when I left, because I'm like, bro, we could have won that game. That game was very, very winnable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The Broncos gift-wrapped you that game. And Callahan just, like, he just jacked it, because it's like he just wasn't – it's like we couldn't get into a flow. And it almost felt like the Titans was Vrabel. Everything, 3 and out. I'm like, oh, my Lord. Like, but shout out to the defense. Them boys held their own. They did what they had to do to hold what they needed to hold. But it's like that only holds so long, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, overall, the atmosphere was unbelievable. The atmosphere was great. The atmosphere was amazing. I loved it. But, yeah, I just felt like we should have won that game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's what makes the loss feel so much worse for me, because I expected a loss. It's just how they lost is that it just kills me, because it could have been a win. I could have been given a mea culpa here on Monday saying, I can't believe that they won. Maybe there's something here. And they just didn't, because the coach. How many first downs they have, Blaine? Do you know, the offense?
Well, with only 130-something yards, not very many.
7 first downs, 6 sacks. 131 yards and penalties.
133 offensive yards? No, how many?
Something like that. Ugh.
Oh, man. That just sounds ugly, man. Ah, man. And, if they keep going on this path, the same thing is going to happen, which happened last year is, I said the defense about halfway through the season was going to start getting tired because they're playing so many plays. Like, they play like they're an elite defense, but they're not. Yep. And that can only last for so long. The Broncos have an elite defense. So, yeah, they got the secondary to match up with their front, and that's when you hitting on all cylinders. And, by the way, their defense is actually carrying them until their quarterback gets up to speed to where he's elite or, a good, consistent starter, which he's going to be. But, the defense is carrying him. Yeah. And they said that all last year.
5 to 6 games still feels a little high now after 1 week.
But
it feels a little high. We'll see.
I'm still going with the 6.
Okay. Let's go to Lee real quick in Columbia. Lee, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
It's going to be tough.
Hey, guys. Appreciate taking the call. I just got to take a little issue here. I think it's still, and you're going to disagree, but I don't think it's as much as Callahan. Mm-hmm. As Blaine, you said it just a little bit ago, some of this should be on the players.
Yeah.
I mean, let's take, for instance, we keep talking about the drops, and those were massive drops. If they had been made, there would have been first downs, right? You changed the whole trajectory of where, of that drive. On whichever drive we're talking about where we had those drops. And then obviously the sacks are coming from players. That's not something that I'm going to blame my coach on, right? I can't blame the coach for somebody dropping the ball or somebody not making a block, at least my head coach, okay? So I think we were playing, as we're going to find out, it was one of the best defensives in the NFL, correct?
I mean, we knew it was.
Well, at least last year it was.
Right,
Yeah.
We knew that, and we were in the game, right? So, and really going into the game, not many of you all, I did. I had a feeling that we could win this game. Yeah, I got a feeling we can win every game if the players execute. Blaine, you said it. Mm-hmm. I know there's some to do with the play calling, obviously, but come on. I mean, the players have got to make the plays. Right, Blaine?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Eventually, when you get out there, there's a side of this where I always talk about, once you get out there, the players then now have to execute, whether it's the way the coach wants it or not. You have to be a football player, and I think that's what he's referring to. To me, coaching only comes into play is when you get in game is the management part of the game. So when they bring the play in late and you're running up to the line with 4 seconds left and the guy false starts, well, is that on the player or is that actually the coach? Because he didn't get the play in correctly. Now, the unnecessary penalties, the Jeffrey Simmons and all, that is completely on the player.
Jeffrey Simmons is totally on him.
Holding, some player holding on the offensive line. I mean, at some point, all of it is really everything about the team, the player is eventually on the field. So, yeah. I just wanted to make sure I made that clear because some people say they don't understand there, Stoney. Yeah.
To me, it's looking like this for me is that I get all that, but what I'm blaming Callahan for is for his management mistakes.
Yes.
I think some of his play calling too. Yeah, they have to go out there and execute the play callings, but maybe don't call that play. Like there are some plays where he gets cute on a 3rd and 20. I think it was the 3rd and 24, and all 3 of his guys are bunched up together on the short side of the field, and he didn't put anybody as an outlet. That's play design and play calling over there in that situation. That's not helping your rookie quarterback. Now, I do agree with them. And, we've talked about this before.
And catches. I mean, right?
Dan Moore and the evaluation of this tackle spot seems to be a blind spot for this staff because they also wanted Oli Udoh, right? Oli Udoh over John Ojukwu and Oli Udoh over some of these other guys on this active roster, and he gave up a sack. He gave up a pressure on top of that sack. And then you got Dan Moore over here who's might as well just not filled at a left tackle at some of these plays. I mean, he was so bad.
Not one for that kind of money.
Yeah, not one for that kind of money.
Ugh.
And that was a panic buy because I know they were interested in another left tackle that signed somewhere else, and then they panicked when that guy signed somewhere else, and then they got Dan Moore, and they overpaid for Dan Moore. Now, that's the nature of the free agency, but still, Dan Moore, these are the same issues we saw. He got beat and I'll have to go back and look at the specific play, but he got beat, Blaine. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd play of the game, pass play of the game. The most generic inside move you'll ever see in your life from a defender, and he just lets the guy pretty much go by untouched almost.
Was it Benito? No,
I think it was Benito, but he didn't even have to do a move, is what I'm saying. Like it was just like
took a step and went in.
It just took a step and went in. Like this is still on the staff and stuff. Like that's who they were supposed to get these guys ready, and these guys did not look ready. All the stuff they preached about penalties, efficiency, eliminating mistakes, that did not show up, and that started with coaching over the offseason. The pregame or the off-season program, right?
But the coach can't go out there and execute the guy going underneath.
I mean, that's true, right? Like, I mean, I agree with it.
I mean, he's like, I can't tell you, spoon feed you like, okay, take this step and then do this. Well, you didn't do it. That's what happened.
But it just feels like, where's the Bill Callahan magic at some point?
Oh, yeah. I never felt that.
Yeah. We have not felt the Bill Callahan magic. It got left somewhere else.
Looked at the history there. First and second round guys have had a lot of success under him. I think that's
all right. When we come back, we're going to go to Marcus, Nathan, Troy, and Ethan, and Dave. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
Let's talk insurance. That's King and Associates Insurance. They're independent agents. That's a big difference, but it goes beyond just having multiple companies to shop. Weeding out the non-competitive companies, keeping great relationships with the biggest and best, along with bundling. But unfortunately, life happens and they get it. So here's a true story about my friend and coworker that switched from a previous independent agent, got better coverage on his home and its contents, even his automobiles, with flawless communication and a true champion in his corner after a 16-year-old daughter accident that saved them thousands and thousands from an independent agent who was overcharging him for years. And you can make the switch and save the same, if not more. But don't make the switch because he did. Switch because you should. And as a business, family, or an individual, make the switch to King and Associates Insurance. And I'm sure you have good use of that extra moolah that you'll save. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 615, of course, 321-8121. That's 321-8121, or that's tkinginsurance.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. And yes, his debut yesterday, Cam Ward was sacked 6 times. Since 2000, only 3 rookie quarterbacks took more sacks in their first game. Ian Book, Deshaun Kaiser, and Aiden O'Connell. All right, let's go to Marcus. Marcus, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Crap.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call today. All right. I guess the first thing I would say is remember during the preseason that Cam Ward had mentioned one word about practice, mid. I thought that we were very mid this game.
I think that's very generous.
Yeah, okay. Also, how good of a team are we going to be if he's got no ambition to run, or he's no threat of being a runner? And also, the last thing I would like to mention is that I was listening on the radio, and, when we got the fumble off the muff punt, honestly, every team in the NFL seems like they would take that initiative, that opportunity to go for a touchdown. And I think we went for a run afterwards. I like to listen to you guys talk about that. I think that every team in the NFL would have went for a touchdown, like a little post corner right there after the muff fumble. And that's all I got. Thank you very much.
Thanks. I think off all the turnovers, they weren't as aggressive as they should be. I think that's why you walk away with only 6 points off 4 turnovers.
Man, typically, you're trying to capture the momentum of the game. So once you get a turnover, whether it's muff punt, interception, fumble, recovery, you're trying to go right to the. Typically, when I was taught, when we were out there on defense, they're going to go up top immediately. They're going to go to the end zone, whether you're on the 20 and in or 50 and in. They are going to try to score. And so maybe try to throw them off a little bit. Maybe it's to some of your point of overthinking. Maybe run the play, and then sometimes they go for it on the second down. Then they try to go score. So, yeah, I don't know. That one there it's a little picky, but I definitely say he wasn't being aggressive as I would want him to, to throw towards the end zone.
Let's go to Nathan. Nathan, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, guys. Thank you for taking my call. I just want to say that I really enjoyed watching Cam Ward in, his first game. I think he did really good. Of course, there were a few mistakes where, we took the sack after the muffed punt. Honestly, that's rookie mistakes. And if you couldn't see anything, you should have just thrown the ball out of bounds so we didn't have a chance to lose yardage. I also want to say that surprisingly, what one of you guys said, our defense actually hung in the game for whenever we would go quick 3 and outs because, as a lifelong Titans fan like me, every time I watched the defense and they were out because our offense went 3 and out in times in years past, they were tired, they were exhausted, and the opposing teams that we faced, whoever that was, they came in and they ran the score up on us because our defense was so tired. And I also want to talk about the coaching. I mean, the coaching was, in my honest opinion, I think the coaching was terrible. There were even, of course, I was in the car because I had to go somewhere and I was listening to it on the radio and my friend was texting me about it. And he was mad because I could tell through the text. He was telling me, he was like, why aren't we going for it on 4th down? Because I think he said that I think it was in the 4th quarter that we had an opportunity to potentially go for it on 4th, but instead Callahan decided to punt. So I'm kind of just like you guys said, Brian Callahan. His decision making and what he's done this past year, and also in this game, absolutely, just he's just not, to me, in our eyes, the best fit for the Tennessee Titans. And also, like you talked about, I want to talk about Dan Moore Jr. When we signed him in free agency in the offseason, I was sitting there. And I was watching the NFL Network, and they said, we paid Dan Moore Jr. $80 million. And I told my friends, I was like, I don't know who this guy is. I've never heard of this guy. And I said, we're overpaying this guy $80 million for a guy I've never heard of. And they're like, he's from the Steelers. He's done really good. I was like, I don't think he played at all last year when he was with the Steelers. I don't know if that's true or not, but people kind of said he really didn't play at all, and he gave up sacks. But
I think he started 4 years there.
Yeah, he started 4 years, but I mean, maybe his play on the field made it seem like he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
What he gave up 12 sacks
12 sacks last year. Yeah. That's not including the sacks that were credited to Russell Wilson that came from his side, or the quarterback.
Yeah, but this is the thing about us and the Titans, and I mean, regardless, I don't know what to make of Dan Moore Jr., the whole entire offensive line. It just Cam Ward, he's a good quarterback. This is what I'm nervous about right here. Offensive line is still pretty bad. Okay, I mean, like you guys said, Nick Benito, he's not like a Von Miller or Myles Garrett. He's like your normal average pass rusher in the NFL, and he was getting through on most plays to try to get to Cam Ward. But this is what I have to say here. We're going to be, if we don't clean up our offensive line quickly and try to figure out what we need to do, it's going to be another situation where we had Marcus Mariota when he came in, had no offensive line except for Taylor Lewan, and I can't remember who else we had. I think we had Jack Conklin.
Nathan, I'm sorry that we have to fade you down because we are an equal opportunity phone call show, but we have to go to break. We got to pay our sponsors. So sorry about that, Nathan. But you made some good points. We're also going to hear from Troy, Ethan, and Dave when we come back. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
Listen up, Nashville. Dollar Shave Club just sharpened their blades and juiced up their lube stripe, all while keeping the price tag the same. To celebrate their best razor ever, they're hitting the road and they are looking for the best at some parlor games in each city along the way. They'll be at Bridgestone Arena Pavilion from 1 to 8 p.m. this Saturday. And you can find me, of course, there. Yeah, me, Blaine Bishop, there from 2 to 4 this Saturday. And let's see if you got what it takes to beat me in some toss, kick, or throw competition. Top scorer during DSC time in Nashville scores 2 tickets to the Predators home opener. And don't be dull with a dull blade. Show up and show out. So bring the family to test your skills in a series of games done with Dollar Shave Club way, including cornhole, football target toss, and soccer darts. And you know I'm the king of that and more. And all you have to do is just go to DSC2025tour.com. That's DSC2025tour.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. Let's go to some of these phone calls real quick because we have a Titans therapy session Monday here. Let's go to Troy. Troy in Nashville. You're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's going on?
Nothing much. Let me just gonna start off by saying nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. But anyway, man, Dan Moore Jr. equals Andre Dillard. Andre Dillard equals Dennis Daly, a.k.a. Twice Daly.
Yes, I mean.
I'm talking about, it's like I wanted to go down on the field and snatch the helmet off his head, just like they did on Scooby-Doo when they catch the bad guy to reveal who's the real culprit behind this. Because, come on now, that right there was just trash. Completely trash.
Yeah,
And Coach Callahan, man, I know everybody gets that 1 year, but if you come back in doing the same thing that you were doing last year, I just don't see that. That's not going to work out. That's not going to work out, man. And least, but not the last thing, Xavier Restrepo would have caught the ball.
Oh, he wouldn't even been in the spot to catch it.
Oh, my.
He would have still probably been running from the line of scrimmage. Thanks for that call. I think that's where I'm at, Blaine, the logical brain for me. The emotional guys still trying to hold out hope that Brian Callahan could turn things around. But the logical guy says we have 18 games worth of data to say that we're seeing the same things we saw last year.
With a different group
mostly. You're correct. And what should be a better group of talent, I would say, compared to last year.
It looks like it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're still seeing the same mistakes, the same errors, the same issues. Red zone, right? I mean, they were dreadful in the red zone last year. They're dreadful in the red zone again this year so far. Now, he has an opportunity to change that, right? He's got with the way it looked yesterday, he's got all the way up to the Patriots game to turn things around.
That's what I think.
But he's going to have to, himself has to look better.
Watch this. You guys tell me, if they beat the Rams here at home, what happens?
See, the narrative will be different.
Right, see? So that's all it takes.
That's so easy. When you put it
No, it's not easy. It's not easy. But so I'm like, man, we gotta. It's still the first game,
right?
And we're picking out all the little bitty things. They played a really good team, a team that made the playoffs last year, by the way, and an elite defense, and they showed up in why they are an elite defense.
Mm-hmm.
So it showed our holes and weaknesses. We're still not all the way there yet, but I would say, the quarterback and the receivers, outside of Ridley, who's an older player, they look like they're going to be the real deal returner. So, even Gunnar Hill, I mean, even though he didn't, get the catch, I mean, it looks like they did a good job. Only thing here makes me nervous because I thought the offensive line would be at least the most consistent with Latham and the crew they have there. He now has a hip, and Moore didn't show up. And I don't know if it's his ankle or what, because remember, he did miss some practice time going against the Broncos. He did not look like, I was at least thinking he was going to be solid. Like that, maybe you give up a sack to some elite pass rushers, but, I think these guys are really good. I don't think they're elite. And the way they were moving around them, it looks like they were elite.
And
so maybe I got it wrong.
Listen,
I don't know.
Now, he got blitzed on 50% of his passes, but you guys need to remember that stat means that they could have just sent 5, right? And they sent 5 a lot.
I'm talking about Moore Jr., and all I'm talking about is him blocking.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He blocked somebody, whoever he put his hands on.
What I'm saying is there was a lot of one-on-one matchups. Sometimes they would have a tight end stay, and they would rush 6, and it's all about one-on-one matchups. Yeah. And this Denver team, more often than not, the Denver defense versus the Titans offense, won their one-on-one matchups, not just in the trenches, but oftentimes out in the in the passing lanes too. I mean, sometimes Callahan made it a little easy for them to do that, but I mean, they won their one-on-one matchups pretty regularly and pretty decisively when it came to the trenches.
What was the PFF for Junior? Did he have the lowest score?
He may have had the lowest score.
of
I mean, it was like
or any player on the team.
Let's see. Oh, he's definitely any player of the team.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure
they gave up, 6. Yeah, but that was at the end. Cam got to get rid of the ball. I mean, he learned you can't go backwards. That's the Shador stuff. Remember, and I said we saw all this stuff before, and so he's going to have to go through these lessons. But I think he's a quick learner.
Okay,
and I think he will get it done.
His pass blocking grade out of players that snapped was the third lowest.
Oh.
So Brandon Coleman, Tyler Guyton with Dallas, and then Dan Moore. So Tyler Guyton, second-year player, 26.1. Brandon Coleman, 20.8. And Dan Moore Jr. was 26.4. Now, to be honest, I'm not a big believer in PFF grades.
Right.
But that sounds right.
But I'm not going to say that, but I could say it gives you a good gauge of where he was at. He didn't perform. He was at the bottom tier of guys who
third lowest overall grade. So that what I just read was pass blocking. Third lowest overall grade of all the offensive linemen, tackles, guards, and centers.
You felt like he was that bad?
He was. Oh yeah. I'm surprised he's not lower.
I was watching the whole totality of the game, and really, when I go back and watch it again, I'm a focus on him.
I felt it was worse. And listen, there were a couple plays that Latham looked bad. Like he didn't know that he was supposed to be the aggressor, and he didn't see.
Well, I saw one time where he got a late count. Maybe he couldn't hear. See, we can't hear all of that when you're watching on TV. I mean, he got a jump start on Latham, and I had never seen somebody just he was already touching the back of his jersey before he did anything.
His head was like this.
Oh my gosh! It was like he knew the snap count.
Yeah. So there was a head bob, so they were doing head bobs.
See, he went off the pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look at that.
Yep.
Well, Ross, real quick, do you think Moore Jr. was that bad?
He was pretty bad. But what I was going to say, too, is, they talked about the operation not being quick enough. When you get down late in the play clock, defensive line can pin their ears back because they know they got to snap
I definitely did that when I knew I was blitzing.
They're ready
doubt.
to go.
You time it up and you get them.
Now, is this a different Ethan or the same Ethan?
I believe different.
Okay, we're going to go to this version, Ethan and Dixon.
Utley.
Ethan.
From Tennessee.
Ethan,
Hey,
you're on
guys,
the
y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Got you.
Hey, I got a quick deal, just kind of switch it up too. How many of those calls, Blaine, and really, Blaine, this is a question for you. How many of those PIs, holding penalties on Brownlee Jr. were legit, and how many of them was home cooking? Because here's the thing, man. I'm sitting at home watching this game. I see Brownlee Jr. getting picked on, and not only that, then I hear the announcer on TV saying, Brownlee Jr. is known for this. He did this all last year. And then at the end of the game, when the Titans are driving, and Surtain, the best defensive player in the league, hits Calvin Ridley 6 seconds before the ball gets there, and it's just an immaculate play by Surtain. So I'll be honest with you, I thought half the calls that the refs called on the Titans were BS. And I also thought that the announcers on TV were clearly rooting for the Broncos because every time we made a good play, it was a fluke, and every time they made a great play, it was supposed to happen. And I just wanted to get your take. And then my only other question is, at what point does Brownlee Jr., what does he have to do in the league to become a guy like Surtain, where when he makes that play where he gets there a second earlier, the refs give him a little bit of a cushion maybe because he's a proven player as opposed to the refs just throwing the flag every single time? And that's my question. I'll hang up and listen.
Sounds good, Ethan.
That's a tough one there because, you're trying not to take away his aggressiveness, but there's also a time where certain guys have to learn. You go through this panic. Oh, I got to, put my hands up or you grab them and you feel like you're in desperation mode. He's not even in that, and he's still doing that. He's just a grabby, touchy guy. So I think you need to do a drill where he can't use his hands. And a drill that I used to do was the coaches had me do was behind the back. Put your hands behind your back, and now you're using your feet more than your hands, and then your feet then become the shadow, and then you're in the right spot. So that's what I would kind of do with him, more so than not. I think eventually we're going to see that he is a nickel guy. It's not too many corners like him. Now, Surtain is a technician. He has all the prototype size, length, and speed. That's why. But he is a technician. You watch him, he may use his hand sometimes. Sometimes he goes, well, my job is just to shadow you and then make a play on the ball like he's a wide receiver, like he is the actual wide receiver. Different skill sets, better athlete. So you can't try to be something that you're not. You try to be the best version of what you have. And to me, Bronley has quick feet. He's aggressive. So understand that they're going to use that against you. So then you play with your feet. Then now you're going to win more times than not. I saw him get beat off the line a couple times too. He's overly aggressive. He goes for the first fake every time. First fake, when you're in press man-to-man, ignore. First fake, ignore. You didn't see it. And when he gets that kind of patience, then he will become the best version of himself.
Yep. I also think on the flip side of that, I agree with everything you just said. I also think Riley Moss got away with a few that probably would have been called on Jarvis Brownlee Jr.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's home cooking. I'm just saying that's not calling the game
fairly
consistently.
No, I didn't even address that. I do think a couple of those calls against Brownlee, I think were ticky-tack.
Yeah.
And then they did let him get away with some later down the road. So, I think if the broadcasters know he's a little aggressive and holds a little bit, I think the referees know. So, first of all, Brownlee needs to make sure he understands the guy that's on the sideline and, just kind of fraternize with him a little bit, have conversations. I would do the same thing when I played and make sure the guy in the back end zone, hey, man, just, say, hey, how you doing? Have a conversation when you're out there in the game with some downtime and make sure they'll give you a little bit of a break, because sometimes you can look overly aggressive even though it's still not a penalty. They're going to call it because their version of what they see is a little bit different than what's actually going on in the game.
That is true. When we come back, we're going to go to Dave, Noah, Shane, and Andre. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Listen up, Nashville. Dollar Shave Club just sharpened their blades and juiced up their lube stripe, all while keeping the price tag the same. To celebrate their best razor ever, they're hitting the road and they are looking for the best at some parlor games in each city along the way. They'll be at Bridgestone Arena Pavilion from 1 to 8 p.m. this Saturday. And you can find me, of course, there. You have me, Blaine Bishop, there from 2 to 4 this Saturday. And let's see if you got what it takes to beat me in some toss, kick, or throw competition. Top scorer during DSC time in Nashville scores 2 tickets to the Predators home opener. And don't be dull with a dull blade. Show up and show out. So bring the family to test your skills in a series of games done with Dollar Shave Club way, including cornhole, football target toss, and soccer darts. And I'm the king of that and more. And all you have to do is just go to DSC2025tour.com. That's DSC2025tour.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is where we're having our Titans therapy session Monday here. We've enjoyed hearing from all the fans, and we're going to continue to do so. We're going to go to Dave in Mount Juliet. Dave, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, Blaine. Hey, how y'all doing, guys?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing great.
Doing great. Hey, the game, I'm not going to be one of the normal Titan fans. I want to be the guy that says this is our first game.
Right.
There was lots of mistakes, but you know what? If we cut half the penalties down and 3 of the interceptions down next week, we got a chance.
That's a tall order there, Dave.
Hey, it can be done, though. What
Yes,
is it called,
it can
guys? Discipline. You got to have discipline. And that's what this coach needs. He needs discipline, and the team needs discipline, and they need to make this week discipline. And that's, I just think if that works, they can do it.
Well, hopefully, I feel like that's the same song and dance we talked about last year almost every game. If you just did this, if you just do that, and it's the same ifs. If you cut down on penalties, if you cut down on drops and all this kind of stuff, it's the same ifs. That's the issue I guess I'm really having.
Yeah, and I think that happens when you don't have the talent. Now they're getting the talent. Now they have to get the experience. So that's where we're at. I mean, that's why I feel like it feels the same. Like we almost, if you would have done this or that, man, they could have won the game. Like just a couple penalties here or there, critical. They could have won it. Like, and Denver, that would have garnered a lot of respect around the league and would have built a lot of confidence, not just the players, the coaches, but the fans. Man, that just would have taken it to a whole nother level of going into this next game. You're close. So it's not the end of the world. It's still at the beginning. We're still in the first quarter of the season. So we shall see. But what we do know is we had some positives in it too. I know it's hard to look at because it was super hard for me to do it as a player. All I cared about was winning and losing. But, man, there were a lot of positives. We got some young guys that's going to be talented starting with the quarterback. So, and I'm interested to see if they let Snead play a little bit more on defense, too.
Well,
because they got some injury history. Brownlee's injured, and who else is maybe out?
That's
JC, right?
Yeah, JC, but you're talking secondary.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the corners.
Was it Baker that got hurt yesterday?
Oh.
Brownlee came back in. I know Marcus Harris came in for somebody, but I can't.
Marcus Harris came in. I think that was for Brownlee.
Yeah, and that was a pass to Mims that he was on. That was like a 4th down play, I think, to that Bo Nix targeted the cornerback that was just
targeted him immediately. Yeah, of course.
Let's go to Noah, who wants to talk about the Titans. Noah, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Great.
Pretty good. Hey, so I'm gonna talk out of both sides of my mouth here for a second, but. One, imagine if right before halftime, imagine if we execute and Callahan does march, or Ward does march us down the field and we get 7. Imagine the different tune that everybody's singing this morning about he trusts his guy, everything's good. Now, however, with that being said, I'll give Callahan till week 4. If he's 0-4 and then 0-2 in the division, he's gone. Let Denard Wilson ride it out the rest of the season. And if that don't work, give me Todd Monken or Cliff Kingsbury and see what we got going.
Or Joe Brady. Just want to throw Joe Brady out there as a potential
Joe
nominee.
Brady will work. Joe Brady will work as well.
There you go. I like it. I will say, you asked me earlier who I thought the Mike Bergonzi and Chad Brinker would bring in.
Yeah, this is off air.
And I said with the first name out of my mouth, this is not my choice, but this is why I felt where they would go would be Matt Nagy, who is the offensive coordinator over at the Chiefs. Obviously, he failed with the Bears, but I think if you really went and read this weekend a great 3-part piece from golongtd.com where they break down the house of dysfunction that the Bears actually are, I think you would understand that maybe Matt Nagy wasn't really the issue.
Is that my guy Tyler Dunn who's right there?
Yeah. It's good. You got to.
I'm part of his newsletter.
No, there you go. Well, then you missed it over the weekend.
No, I just did not read it.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something.
Nothing about the Bears.
Well, let me tell you something. It talks about Caleb Williams, Drake May. They apparently were laughing at Drake May tape. And if you even talked about Drake May in a positive manner, they would just dismiss you. Like that scouting department was like, it sounded like your frat buddies, hanging around watching football. And then they talked about the dysfunction with Caleb Williams. He didn't even want to watch tape. Right. It got deep.
Well, I thought they said that the coaches didn't help develop him, so then he just started doing his own thing.
Yeah, apparently he was like dismissive with the wide receivers and the staff. I don't. It was a lot, but I would say that maybe that just leads credence to maybe it's not a Matt Nagy issue, maybe an organizational issue. But I would think that he likely would be on the top of their list, in my opinion. Now, is that the right call or not? That's a totally different story.
What about your list?
I'm Joe Brady, Todd Monken. That's my clear top two. So the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator.
Give me your reasoning.
Well, the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator, because I've seen Joe Brady be able to adapt his offense in different ways.
From college. Right?
From college to here. Also, I've seen him be able to do it with the addition of James Cook, going from pass heavy with Josh Allen. I've seen what he's been able to do. And Todd Monken, I loved him when he was at Tampa Bay. I loved him when he was at Georgia. He's been a fantastic offensive play caller with the Ravens now. And he's a guy that's had play calling experience. Now, he's on the older side and has failed to get a head coaching job. And I do wonder, what does that say? But that is a guy that I would take a chance on as well. Probably got a string of connections for guys that could come in and build a pretty good, solid staff as well. And I don't know about Cliff Kingsbury, Blaine. I don't know where I land on him. He's
done a better job with the Commanders,
but it's been as an offensive coordinator.
Right.
How much has he taken on and become and changed as a head coach? So I get everybody's fascination. There are guys that are better suited for coordinators than head coaching jobs.
Very true.
I think you may have one right now. I thought Norv Turner was a guy like that. I thought Norv Turner wasn't a very good head coach, but an excellent play caller and offensive mind. I think there are guys like that out there. So I don't know where I land on Cliff Kingsbury in that situation. And again, I'm not in the room for the interview, so I can't even judge these guys face to face. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going off what I've seen them be able to do with offenses, because ultimately Cam Ward needs if you got a young quarterback, you kind of need an offensive-minded guy, because typically your play callers are going to cycle through if they're successful, right? If you're a defensive guy and you bring in an offensive play caller, he's likely to get another job because he's been successful with Cam Ward, and you kind of want some stability there.
Yeah, that's a true statement. I don't have any idea. I don't want to even start thinking about another team.
Yeah. I would like for Brian, before the record, I want Brian Callahan to pull himself out of this hole that he's dug himself in. I just, right now, logically, I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm very skeptical. And that's what the NFL has told us year over year when you make these decisions.
What about a lot of people in the chat saying Gruden?
I'm out on Gruden. I mean, guys, it's been a while. Gruden is Brian Callahan. Brian Callahan is Gruden with more personality, I guess you could say.
Did he work under Gruden?
He did. He did work under Gruden. And so I am not really there on Gruden. And when you're out of the coaching game for a while, it's kind of hard to get back in and be successful. And he's been out of the coaching game for a while. Sure, maybe not of his own volition. But also, he wasn't that good when he was at the Raiders. Are you going to blame the Raiders? And let me tell you something. Titans aren't a better organization right now than the Raiders were, if you really want to get down into the dysfunction and everything. So I don't know. I would just stay away from Gruden. Bring me someone with some staying power that we have seen do it in this new modern era of NFL.
That would be interesting. I have no idea.
Yeah. I would love Mike McDaniel, but I don't know where I'm at on him after seeing his game against the Colts.
Blaine, he's saying that because Gruden said he doesn't know that Zach exists in that cameo.
Has nothing to do with that.
Is that what he takes a lot of things personal?
That has nothing to do with that.
Because I said Gruden before.
But didn't he mention your name?
He did. Well, but he mentioned everybody's name. That was just particularly me.
I suggested Gruden before the show, and Zach acted like I committed a war crime.
He said that was a bar stool.
Yeah, I just said you just said that because because of Barstool.
And I don't even watch Barstool.
I just don't see the fascination with it. Maybe it's this University of Tennessee overlap with the fan base because all the groomers.
Yeah.
But I'm out on John Gruden. Let's go to Shane in Ashland City. Shane, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, guys. Yeah, if it's a Titan therapy session, you guys got to take a few more calls here. Anyway, so Callahan and the coaching staff getting lit up pretty good on X, and rightfully so. When you're giving up more yardage than offense, that's a coaching issue, and that's why I think it's not just Callahan. I think this whole coaching staff could be kind of in over their head. I mean, one of the things that kind of always gets me is how long it takes to get the playoff, and just on the offensive side of the ball. You see a lot of good teams; they get the playoff with like 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds left, and it keeps the defense, off balance.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I saw some good things. I mean, the quarterback's got a good arm and he can move. But yeah, Callahan, he looked bad. So I didn't watch the whole game, but yeah, keep taking calls. We got to get this off our chest here, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we feel you too.
We're here to help.
Yeah, we're helping each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough scene because I'm going to get through a couple of the notes. I went back through and watched every pass play of Cam Ward, and we'll get through a couple of those notes if we have time today. If not, we may save it for tomorrow. Especially so maybe Blaine can end up, watching some of the all 22. I watched every throw. And
so I got to watch every throw and more, Junior?
Well, see, this is what I did. I watched every play from the sideline angle. Then I watched Dan Moore get abused on the end zone angle.
Zach enjoys pain.
Yeah, I split it.
Did he ever turn around and say, "Watch out, Cal"?
He should have. He should have put his cupped his hands over his mouth and said, "Watch out."
I didn't know he was this bad, man. He didn't stand out like this 20-some%, man. I'm watching. I'm going back.
Like, we were watching it last night, and it's actually worse on the all 22 because it's hard to focus on everything in the broadcast angle live. But woo, buddy, when you get an all 22,
hey,
no, how he only walked away with 4 pressures allowed in this game makes no sense to me.
Well, how many pressures you say?
Oh, I think about at least 6. Maybe 7. I mean, I'd have to go back through and rewatch it to actually count them. I really, in my notes, I put in like Dan Moore. I put in all these notes, and then even if it was a completion, Dan Moore abused again.
Hey, well, I don't know if he was. I don't recall. I gotta go. They said he was 27% PFF. I'm like, okay, let's go back and look. He has to be at least like 40, 50%.
Well, the very first pass play to Tony Pollard, right? And here's my notes. They only sent 4 pass rushers on that play. And Dan Moore is abused instantly. That's in my notes. Then you got a 1st and 10. Dan Moore gets beat on the pass to Chig for 4 yards. With Dan Moore getting pushed around in front of him.
Whoa. State, man. 2 completions. Maybe that's why I'm getting skewed.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, it was complete. Was he in his face?
Well,
like if he got beat.
The very first one where he's trying to navigate.
Watch this. Here's how it's done. He could be short setting. Short setting means that he knows it's a quick pass, so he is setting to make sure he gets a good punch, and then that's it. The play is over because the quarterback's supposed to get rid of the ball.
Neither of these were supposed to be quick passes. Dan Moore Dan Moore is like, if better protection on this 1st and 10.
No,
maybe have let the play develop for a longer game, but he was forced to go to Chig.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, I'm just making sure we understand how you're looking at it. Okay.
Now, there's one like here, like Dan Moore's starting to get pushed in front of Cam Ward, but it's not really a pressure per se.
Pushing his body back. Okay,
but when you've kind of already allowed a lot of pressures, your quarterback gets a little skittish, right?
I was just trying to make sure you're trying to be fair to Dan Moore, man.
Dan Moore, woof. Dan Moore got bullied. Dan Moore got beat so bad.
Woof. Like he was woofing?
No, he was just like, woof. Ugh.
Whiff?
No. Wait, I mean, he may have whiffed. Well, I'm saying, like, I'm using it as a descriptor. It's like Dan Moore, woof.
Oh, my. Oh, that he was like horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Dan Moore didn't sustain. Like, it was, I got about maybe 6 or 7 here, I think, that were really on him.
God, well, I'm going to go watching all the throws. Oh, man, dang.
I didn't even watch the run plays because
just the pass plays.
I just did the pass plays because I don't think I could have watched the run plays and have to watch any more Dan Moore after that.
I didn't think he was that bad, dang.
It was bad. It was bad. Let's go to Andre in Knox. You're on with Blaine Zach.
Hello, number 15 was getting around him every time.
No joke.
Well, I knew at the end it was bad for everybody. They even put him over there with the backup guy. He just ran right around. I was like, oh, my gosh.
But, so let me just advise everybody. We don't get the calls in our own stadium. We're not going to get the calls in everybody else's stadium. The commentators don't like us ever since we haven't been to the playoffs. So what I advise you to do is mute the TV, get a Bluetooth speaker, and listen to Titans radio or 104.5 The Zone. You can hear it in your area. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Use your
no
app
doubt.
on the phone, yeah.
I will say Mark Sanchez, king of the butt fumble, really
What'd he
just
say?
laying into Brian Callahan in that broadcast. And I'm like, if you got Mark Sanchez criticizing your decision making, you know it's bad.
No, I saw you tweet that. I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you taking shots at him? What was
Well,
the point of
I'm
that?
just saying. He was not known for his decision making.
Gosh. Hey, Blaine.
That was his playing days as a broadcaster.
Yeah.
That's really what
Yeah,
it is.
I was just
Blaine,
saying.
I will say, and Zach and I talked about this, when you go back and watch all his throws, I think you will find there was a touchdown left on the table. Didn't like the play call, but the sprint out from the 5 in the red zone, Van Jefferson was coming open late.
Yeah, on the backside.
And he worked through his reads too quickly and got
Yep.
sacked on that play.
Yeah.
It was like one of the worst 2 plays, I guess, he had on that.
I don't even know if that was Van running really hard.
Yeah, he actually made that guy fall down with a little bit of route running, a little bit of juke, a little bit. There's also another one where I'd have to find which play it was, but Calvin Ridley, if he just had, I can't remember.
The
if he
reason
had
why I say that, because when you do a sprint out away, the only way that guy on the backside as the receiver there, Ross, is if he's sprinting to the other way. And the way you're saying, he kind of set the guy up like it wasn't that kind of. He's out of the picture.
It wasn't like that, but it was.
But think about the vision of the play though.
Yeah,
he's running left.
Yeah.
Everything is left.
Right.
Okay, and so how is the receiver on the right side a part of this equation? Only way he can be a part of the equation unless the quarterback stops and then throws it to him down the middle of the field.
Van Jefferson's running to the left.
I know, but he is.
And he's
run left.
Yeah,
you way over there. He is not part of the window of the throw.
Are you talking about the defender?
No, I'm talking about. I'm trying to think about the play you're talking about. That he sprinted out all the other receivers were all the way over there.
Van was over there too.
And then he tried to square up. I think this is the play you're talking about. And then Van Jefferson was coming up open late on the right side. What I'm getting at,
he was on the left side. He was going.
the opposite side.
No, the same side with.
Oh,
Cam.
was he? Okay. So I'm talking about a different play.
Yeah, it may have been. I think I know the play you're talking about, but this was.
And he got sacked.
Yeah, he got sacked. But this was. This was going to the same side Cam was going to, and that's what Cam Ward needed to keep following his blocks.
Oh,
and if he kept following, he felt Jonathan Cooper coming behind him, and that's when he went to the right because he looks over, sees Jonathan Cooper, and then he kind of runs into him, trying to hoping to maybe get his momentum to carry him a different way. But I don't know who he would have thrown to. He might. But he would have had to probably run it in.
Well, he was trying to buy some time, which he's figuring out that he can't get away from some of these big old dudes that he was getting away from in college. I told you.
Blaine, that's what I was saying I didn't like about the play is because, one, when you sprint out, you're cutting off half the field.
Right.
But also, two, is Van had that, they were trying to rub with Ellick. That didn't work. But he had that K corner where you stem in, stem up, go back out. That takes too much time to develop. He should have lined them up tight and got a rub off that.
Right.
Yeah. Save space.
My thing is that it seemed like Brian Callahan did a really good job of cutting off half the field for his rookie quarterback, and that's not good. I will say this. There was another play I feel like was left on the table this is because Lloyd Cushenberry ends up on the ground sideways, like he slipped on a banana peel because number 93 and number 93 is coming down to crash on Ward. But if Cush had been able to stay up on his feet and not get bullied to the ground, Ridley did this head fake that had Hufanga turned all the way around and going the opposite direction. He was wide open in the middle of the field. And that's where Cam wanted to go with the ball, but Cush couldn't hold it up.
Oh, I'm sure that happened a couple times.
Yeah, it likely did. All right, when we come back, we'll close out the show with Brady, Jason, and Mark. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
Want to know about a place where European auto repair doesn't feel like a European auto repair? Well, it's Blaine Bitts would tell you about the moment you walk into Eurofix, you'll notice is not your typical greasy garage. Waiting rooms, they're clean, comfortable, and inviting. Service areas are spotless. Why? Because Eurofix cares about everything from how you are treated to how your vehicle is treated. And every repair comes with a rock-solid 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all repairs at Eurofix that they perform and at below-dealer pricing. and you don't have to put up with dealer prices or get ghosted when you're waiting on a call back. And Eurofix fixes everything European, plus a rental car is available with every appointment. Located all over the state of Tennessee in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can check them out online at myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're live from the Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. We put out a poll earlier, and it was Ross. Go ahead and tell us about the poll.
Yes, the poll was asking about the Alec Manor play that Brian Callahan did not challenge yesterday, and what was worse about that situation, that either Brian Callahan didn't challenge the play in real time or that he didn't know the rule, and overwhelmingly people voted that him not knowing the rule was worse. It is 86% to 14% in that aspect.
This also from a reply on the poll, it said it needed more choices. C, lying about knowing the rule when confronted during today's press conference, and D, all of the above.
That's fair. Yep.
Was that Jeff Wilson?
Yeah. I will say this. Not knowing the rule is pretty egregious, and then using the term, well, I interpreted the rule pretty differently, or I had the wrong interpretation of the rule. So when he said that he didn't know the rule last night and said that you had to have a foot down, I was like, well, I mean, 1 cheek equals 2 feet, if you remember the Jonnu Smith
against the
presser.
Ravens.
And against the Ravens. And even a shin, one shin. It's always been one body part besides the hands that would count in place of 2 feet. And when he said that last night, I was like, what in the world? And then he says his interpretation is different. Here is the rule. From the rule book. Touches the ground inbounds with both feet or with any part of his body other than his hands.
Now, I'm going to say this because initially, without seeing, the replay and then seeing his elbow got in, when they initially threw the ball, I thought he didn't get any parts of his body down.
I wasn't sure.
I didn't think he got any part inbounds at any point in time. And so, they have people up there that's supposed to be doing that for him because he can't see from the sideline. So then they should have seen it because they showed the replay on TV, and you can say, oh, man, it looks like he has his elbow in. Least challenge that. So whoever was watching, maybe they didn't even understand the rule.
Yeah.
And he's taking all the blame because, he has to. But he has people on staff to do that.
It was, he hired a guy specifically for that.
Which Vrabel had was Sticks, right? What was
Stretch.
Stretch, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like calling him Sticks, though. Let's go to Brady.
He was tall at the end.
Let's go to Brady in the Borough. Brady, you're on Blaine and Zach.
I think that
hey, guys, how's it going?
Going good, how are you?
Fisher's guy with Sticks.
Doing all right. So we talked about on Friday, I don't remember if it was you guys or 3HL, about not beating ourselves.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
So, drop balls, especially on the last drive. Calvin had no reason not to catch that ball. 100-something yards of penalties. We shot ourselves in the foot, and we really got what we deserved. Terrible coaching, but my Vols did get it done. Go Vols, baby!
There you go. There you go. Thanks, Brady. Yeah, I mean, they beat themselves. As much as we can sit here and talk about whether they should have won, whether they should have been blown out, doesn't matter.
Or play calling, they still had a shot.
They still had a shot.
They still had a shot.
Which may go a long way for this team going forward if they can do something they haven't been able to do through 18 games now and correct their mistakes. Let's go to Jason in the Borough. Jason, you're on Blaine and Zach.
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good.
Doing good. Hey, Hitman, I got some cards, man, that could use some John Hancocks, some rookie cards. But, man, I think we need to get back to the basics, man. Like, parking, like Blaine talks about all the time, how they parked in a parking lot off a bus and they practice on concrete right there in the parking lot. And this is a little off the wall, but ever since we switched to the new uniforms, we really haven't done anything. I think we need to get our old uniforms back and play the real Titan football that I know we can play.
What year was that?
I believe in the original uniforms, like 97, 98, 99, whenever they got their
99.
Titan uniforms.
They got the new ones in 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
The year they went to the AFC Championship game.
With Tannehill, yeah. I just ain't been a big fan of the fonts on the jerseys and the blue helmets. We need to go back to the basics, like the old, the white helmet and the original Titan uniforms. I just believe that, I don't know, I feel like we're cursed with the uniforms that they wear now. I don't know what it is.
Oh.
All right, thanks.
I appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Jason.
Vrabel was coaching, so they actually did well in the.
I believe in a lot of jinxes. You can't get me to believe in a Jersey jinx. Okay. I'm going to go to Gil in California because Gil called last night. We couldn't get to him. So, Gil, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, Blaine and Zach, what's going on?
What's up?
What's going on, Gil?
Oh, man, disappointed with the game. I expected us to lose, but it's just like us keep having the same problems over and over again. And the Dan Moore situation, it really irks me because we knew we always had a problem at left tackle. And here it is, we get somebody that we need to work on instead of just going out and getting somebody who's good and qualified to play the position. So we're going to have to live with that and Ridley's drops. But I think we'll play a lot better next week, hopefully, if Callahan can get it together. But it's just hurtful to see this left tackle situation still not be fixed after all these years.
Oh man, I'm dive into that tonight.
Yeah,
I'm with you, Gil. I had no idea. I thought he would play maybe just okay, but you guys are saying horrendous.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean, it was bad. I mean, there was a lot of bad on tape, and I will say that. Listen, Cam Ward had a few bad plays. He took a sack that he probably didn't need to take. He wasn't helped out by his play caller either and his offensive coordinator, so it was a little tough. Sorry we couldn't get to you, Mark, up at Kentucky, and whoever else was calling in. But, hey, stay on the line because 3HL's up next, and they'll take your phone call. There you go. This has been Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone. And in the meantime.
And in between time.
Peace.